Get out the way. Get out the fucking way.
I'm just doing what Get the fuck. What are you doing? Calm fuck down.
Hello, Toronto. How's everybody doing today? I know it's a little bit cold. I'm actually wearing gloves for the first time. Today we got a different message. I don't need to talk about how the vaccine was dangerous. We don't need to talk about how the mask did nothing. We don't need to talk about how the whole COVID agenda wasn't really about COVID, it was about control. We need to talk about how to reunite people and how to connect people with the idea that they still have power. Because now that the so-called mandates have ended, everybody got complacent, everybody got lulled into submission, and everybody is seeing all the stuff that's coming down the pipeline. The 15-minute cities, the digital ID, the personal carbon allowance. But they're all being bombarded in such a way that the vast majority of us have been put into a negative mindset. And when you're in a negative mindset, not only can you not access your powers, you can't connect with others to make that power stronger. A perfect example is if I called out the men in Canada and I said the men need to be more manly, they need to stand up, they need to do more. The ones in that negative mindset will say, wow, this guy's attacking me, he's an asshole. I'm not going to listen to him. But if they're in that positive frame of mind, all of a sudden they're like, wow, you know, he's right, I could do more. I should speak out. And they get inspired and they act. So step one is to get you to realize that you have power. Each and every one of us have the power to just say no. And when we all come together and utilize that power together, we achieve united non-compliance. And it was through united non-compliance and the trucker convoy that we got our freedoms back. That's why you have no more mask mandates. That's why most people don't have any vaccine mandates. That's why we're allowed to travel out of our country for the first time in a while. And they made you forget about that. They made you now believe that you're free again. So you shouldn't worry about what's happening. And you shouldn't worry about what's coming. But it's coming, and it's going to affect your lives even worse. The entire COVID fiasco of the last 2 years was for two primary purposes. Number one, to train you, and I use that word very specifically, train you to believe that rights and freedoms are not only not paramount to a sexual society like they always have been, but they're actually selfish and dangerous. And then we wanted to rid the idea of individualism and individual responsibility and replace it with collective responsibility. You need to wear the mask to protect him and vice versa. And this is a very dangerous idea because in the pandemic, it was just for your health and safety, and it was only temporarily, so it was okay. But now they want to transition us under the guise of climate change and environmental policies into a future that's even worse than the pandemic restrictions, but will last for generations. And the new mantra will be that you need to give up these rights, freedoms, and everything else, not just for the good and health and safety of you and your family, but for the health and safety of Mother Earth. And the first thing they want to put on you are these 15-minute cities. And this is the most dangerous idea that has come down the pipe. The idea that everything you need will be a 15-minute walk or bike ride. This is a way to make you lower your so-called carbon footprint, as they say. And the number one way to do that is to eliminate as many private vehicles as possible. So now, under the guise of sustainability, equity, inclusion, convenience, they're going to change the planning policies and change it from things like minimum parkings to make room for expansion to maximum parkings, to make it so further and further down the line, less and less of us will have the dream of owning a car. Less and less of us will be traveling to and from the country. Eventually, they're going to try to convince you need to track your own carbon footprint, and you need to have a personal carbon allowance. And they're going to tie it all into their digital ID. And you can see what the 15-minute cities look like in China right now. The same China that we just found out influenced our elections. And you can't even leave your building complex unless you scan and you do your digital ID and you have up to date on your vaccines and all the rest of it. And we don't want that here. We need something different. We need change. And we have a very unique opportunity for the first time that since I've been alive. John Tory resigning was a sign. Everybody saw what John Tory was. Before I even knew about it, people were calling me and saying, you need to run for mayor. And I took it as a joke until I saw that it was trending on Twitter and Google. And I was like, holy crap, I might have some support here. And then it occurred to me that I also have over 20 years in the planning and development industry from the private sector. So not only do I know how to deal within the bureaucracy of government where they have unlimited time and money, I have to do so within the budget and deadline constraints of the private sector. So not only do I know how to work through them, I know how to do it efficiently. Very efficiently. And then it occurred to me that even the people that do not like me, even the people that, if you ask them, will say the words they hate me. If you ask those same people, how would you feel about Chris Sky fighting for you? They change their mind real quick. And I seriously considered it, and I seriously considered running, and I seriously considered announcing it. And then I got invited by a family to go visit their daughter for her birthday. And my wife and I were all excited. We bought a birthday present. And then we found out that we wouldn't be able to go to their house. We'd have to go to the hospital. And it wasn't because of COVID, ladies and gentlemen. It was because of the government policies that created a vast mental health crisis in this country. And when I walked in, we saw their daughter, and I saw the state that she was in, and I remembered myself saying many times on video that I would do everything in my power to stop kids from suffering. And when I looked at her in the eye, I couldn't even say that to her because I knew I could run and I could change things. And she is the reason that today I am going to announce that I fully intend to run for mayor on Toronto.
Chris for mayor! Chris for mayor! Chris for mayor! Chris for mayor!
In fact, in honor of her and all the children like her whose futures we need to protect, we created an email address, Chris Sky for Change. Write that down, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Sky for Change. And we're going to be running a pre-election campaign with that email to get as much support as we can. So by the time May 29th comes and they announce the new election, I'll be ready to go to City Hall and tender my application and be able to dedicate 100% of my time, energy, and effort to becoming the mayor of Toronto and standing up for each and every one of you officially, as I have been unofficially for the last 3 years. I put my life on the line every day for each and every one of you. And unlike these other so-called candidates for mayor that see politics as a profession and a career, and they see the chance to be mayor as an opportunity or a promotion, for me, it will be a sacrifice. A sacrifice for me, a sacrifice for my gorgeous wife, a sacrifice for our family, but a sacrifice that I believe is necessary to preserve our freedom. Toronto is the crown jewel in this whole scheme of the World Economic Forum and the United Nations. And a mayor that will stop that 15-minute city agenda, a mayor that will stop a personal carbon allowance, a mayor that will stop sending billions and billions of dollars to other places where it's not needed. This is what we need. This is the change we need. Chris Sky for Change at mail.com. Write it down, share it out. You can use it to send an e-transfer. You can send me a request for a wire or a crypto transfer to that email. My wife is holding this shirt. We got them made for today. Chris Sky for mayor. Come and get them right now. Show your support so I can come back here in a month and I'm going to be running for you guys officially. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe this is an opportunity that we can't go unnoticed. What were the chances of them making me have to come back for trial 3 days before the Worldwide Rally? What were the chances of John Tory resigning 2 days before I flew into Toronto? And what were the chances of Chris Guy for mayor trending on Twitter and Google before I even knew he resigned? This was a sign, this is a calling, and I will dedicate 1,000% of my effort to this, and no other candidate can say that. My number will be available to every man and woman that wants to call me. Whether you love me or hate me, you can call me at 416-400-9994. That is my personal number. You will not get an assistant. You will not get a voicemail. You will not get a... Why? Because I will be as dedicated as I am, and no one will be as open and transparent and as ready to hear from you as I will be. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. Thank God for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward to doing everything I can to make your lives better. I love you all. Chris Guy! Chris Guy! Chris Guy! Chris Guy! Chris Guy! Chris Guy!